Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thundertron podcast. So today I'm discussing and giving my thoughts on the recently revealed Transformers Beast Wars Dinobot versus Predacon Tarantulas 2-packs. The price is $70. The release date is April 27th, 2024. So just getting into my thoughts. As far as molding goes for both of these figures, of course they're just taking the mainline releases of these figures. You know, they're taking the Voyager Dinobot from Kingdom, and they're taking the Deluxe Class Tarantulas from Legacy. I think it was Wave 3 if I'm correct. And of course they're just adding new paint apps. There's no new accessories, there's no new molding. I guess there is somewhat of a bonus accessory that I'll cover in just a sec, but as far as molding goes, they're the exact same thing. You know exactly what to expect here. But there is actually quite a few added paint apps which look really good. I might actually get this one. I actually do recall when they first started this series. I think it was with the Optimus Primal versus Megatron one. I'm pretty sure I said in that video, it was one of them recently, I said if they ever make a Dinobot one, I will get it, and I'm actually pretty tempted to, because he's always been one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Beast Wars character of all time. He's a really good character, love his backstory, love his design, so I actually might give this one a chance. I don't know. But figure-wise, just love all the added paint apps. They actually did do his sword correctly this time with the mainline release. I think it was more of like a silver, but in the show, Dinobot's sword has always been kind of like a metallic purple, so that is much more accurate to his original design and appearance in the TV show, which is always good to see. And his little spinning blade, I thought they did a pretty good job with the mainline release. I never really had a problem with that. They really just kind of spiced it up a little bit, you know, added a couple paint apps. I do like all the little spikes and details on his legs. Before, they did have those details on his legs, you know, the little kind of spike teeth detailing on his thighs and kind of his legs there. It did look good before, but it's actually a bit more prominent and a bit more highlighted. There's more bright colors, they're more detailed, so a bit more noticeable, which is always good to see. I do think the head sculpt on this version of that mold is much better. They used that really kind of nice metallic blue, really dark blue. Looks really good. I do love the red for the eyes, the silver for the teeth. I'm actually, another reason why I'm kind of tempted to get this pack is unfortunately my mainline Dinobot does have a paint chip in like the worst possible area. It's like right on his face, which it isn't the biggest, you know, paint chip. It's not a huge scratch, but you know, of all the areas you would want a paint chip to be, probably the face is like the worst place you would have it. So I was pretty disappointed to see that when I got that figure. Of course, that was quite a while ago. So hopefully if I do get this pack, that problem will not happen again. And of course, transformation-wise, you know exactly what to expect if you have any version of this mold. It's pretty straightforward. And as for Tarantulas, I think he actually looks really cool. Definitely of the two figures, I do prefer Dinobot, but I thought Tarantulas was actually a really solid deluxe. He was actually pretty big for a deluxe. Some actually kind of regarded him as a Voyager, because in size, he was pretty big. Actually quite hefty. I thought they did a pretty good job with him. I just had a bit of a problem with the tolerances on my copy of Tarantulas. The joints could have been a bit tighter, especially where the arms and legs are, and the little individual ball joints for his little spider legs. Those were quite loose as well. So I do hope, you know, for my copy or my version of this pack, if I get it, and everyone else's, hopefully it's an improvement over the last release or use of this mold, because it was quite loose. It wasn't to the point, of course, where they were actually popping off. It's just whenever you would actually pose the figure, you could definitely tell it was pretty loose. As far as accessories go, of course, they're the exact same ones that came with the mainline release with the little saw. It appears to me they really didn't change the details as far as his accessories go. You know, they actually did add quite a few details to Dinobot's accessories. I can already tell they were different as soon as I looked at this. As far as I can tell for Tarantulas, they look pretty much the exact same thing. Of course, no new molding for either, so that's not the biggest, you know, surprise there. But paint apps wise, they appear to be pretty much the same. You know, he has that little saw weapon with the metallic purple and the silver and the black. I actually quite like that weapon. I mean, I guess to a point where it's a small weapon like that, there's really, you know, so many details you can actually add. You kind of run out of space and run out of ideas to change for it. So I guess that's somewhat understandable. I really don't understand his harpoon weapon. That was actually another thing that kind of bothered me on the mainline release. He had that really cool harpoon weapon, but it was very plain. It was just like black. That was all it was. I guess a lot of the painting budget probably went into the figure itself, which is fine, but I'm also kind of bothered by this one because they didn't change it. It's still kind of like a very plain, just black harpoon. And, you know, the main theme and kind of topic of these packs is, you know, added paint apps. They're supposed to look more accurate to the TV show. They're supposed to look, you know, more classic, you know, which I really don't remember what his harpoon looked like in the show. I'm pretty sure it wasn't just solid black. It's actually been quite a while since I've seen any episodes with Tarantulas Tarantulas. I'll have to maybe check out a few and see if it's accurate, but I'm pretty sure in the show it wasn't just straight up black. It probably had a few details on there, but even if it didn't, considering this is, again, the main theme and topic is more paint apps, they probably could have added like maybe some silver, maybe some like metallic purple or something. It just seems a bit rather boring, but really that's my only complaint as far as Tarantulas goes. As far as transformation, again, most likely I would assume the exact same thing. I actually really did like Tarantulas' spider. It was actually really big. I was very surprised. I remember when I first transformed it, I was like, wow, that is really big. I quite liked it. I definitely think it was a huge improvement over Black Arachnia's spider mode. Overall, from Kingdom, Black Arachnia's robot mode was amazing. That was the first Black Arachnia figure I ever got. But her spider mode was not good in my opinion. It has so many tolerance problems. It was just not very good. That was a huge improvements for Tarantulas. I'm really glad they did a better job with that one. And again, there were some tolerance problems in both modes, so hopefully that's improved on this one. And I'm assuming the accessories will store in the exact same way. I do like the added paint apps for they actually did add some paint apps for his eyes, which is really cool to see. I actually do like that because on the mainline release for his spider face, it was rather plain. Like the eyes were kind of just green dots. They actually added kind of an iris, they added a bit more of an expression for his face in the spider mode, which is cool. They actually added some details for his little mandibles, his teeth and his claws, which is cool. And it does appear there might be a bit more texturing on the figure than before. There was texturing on both these figures, but it does appear from the pictures, it seems like they might have actually added some more as far as I can tell. As far as Dinobot's Velociraptor mode, I actually really did like it. I do have a few complaints, but of course they pretty much stayed the same. They weren't going to change, huge sections of this figure, because of course it's just a repaint. So all the same problems I had before on the past release probably will stay with this one. So, the feet do kind of tuck out the back or kind of stick out the back of the Velociraptor. I never really liked that. Only from certain angles you can really see the feet. It's kind of just, from like the side view, but from the front you can barely tell. Quite a few people have actually had a problem with the little dino claws. They have very little articulation. They're pretty stock. I don't really like that either. But again, what do you expect? It's a repaint, so no surprise there. And the whole sword and spinning blade does form the tail. I thought that was pretty cool and creative. And yeah, I think it's a really solid pack. So getting into the bonus accessory, this actually does come with a golden disc, which is actually really cool. I'm actually glad they took this opportunity because I think all of the packs before this, I think this is the 6th pack if I'm correct, or like the 5th one. It's quite a few. But of all the packs before this is the first time they've actually added an accessory, which I'm actually really glad. I think they definitely missed some opportunities with the past ones. No, I don't think they're gonna, add a ton of stuff, but considering this is kind of an exclusive Hasbro Takara thing, it's somewhat rare, sort of, and, they're not gonna make that very many of these, and it's supposed to be kind of like a premium type thing, they're supposed to be kind of really nice and fancy. I think maybe like an added blaster, or maybe some blaster pieces, or like a display stand or like a backdrop would have been a nice touch. I think that would be pretty cool if maybe every single one of these came with like a backdrop, because they're trying to somewhat recreate the sort of like arch rivals, sort of nemesis. They're doing Optimus Prime and Megatron. They did Rhinox and I think Scorponok it was. They're also doing Pterosaur and Rat Trap, so maybe they could do a few backdrops, taking scenes from the show. I think that would have been a good idea. Kind of like Studio Series, with the Studio Series figures, they do backdrops that are, very related to the character that you're buying. It's like the Fallen, he comes with the pyramids, and I think you know what I mean. So that would have been nice. Just an extra something, I think would have been good, considering all of these packs are overpriced by a certain degree. Some of them some of them have been like $5 over, some of them have been like $10 over. This one is technically $10 more than it really should be because it's a Voyager and Deleter, so adding it together, it's pretty much exactly $60. So yeah, not the greatest there. Also, you do have to keep in mind, I always keep this in mind whenever doing these news videos, I do have premium, but even if you do have premium, of course, you do have to pay a yearly fee. So one way or another, you will be paying money, but if you don't have premium, that's pretty much another $7 or $8. So it's pretty much almost $80, which really does not seem worth it. I think at the very most, it should be $65. I would say this even if I didn't have premium, or even if I did, which I do. I'm just thinking for everyone's sake, it really should be like $65 at the most, because yes, there is an added accessory, but are they trying to say, you know, that added golden disc accessory is $10 worth of money? I don't think so. I don't think it comes with both. I'm not sure. It just shows a picture with one. I guess it only comes with one, which is a bit weird to me. It really should come with both. I guess maybe they're only including one, you know, because Dinobot does destroy one in the show. I guess that's probably why. I don't know. I would just think it would make more sense to include both. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think overall it is a solid pack. I do have a few qualms and problems with it as far as price goes. And, you know, I have my qualms and problems with their past releases that'll most likely probably stay on these releases. But I do hope you enjoyed this segment. Let me know what you think of this 2-pack in the comment section down below. Will you be picking it up or will you be passing on it? And also, do you think that $70 price tag is worth for this set? Or do you think it should be cheaper like I am saying? I do hope you enjoyed. Leave all your thoughts on these figures in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.